Big Ten matchup. The Oregon Ducks travel out to Iowa City and Kinnick Stadium to play the Iowa Hawkeyes. Let's get you all the details first. 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern Time on CBS. Should be around in the low 50s, should be dry, crisp, perfect for this sort of game. So you can't blame it on the weather, you can't blame it on rain, snow, none of that at all. The Ducks lead the series 2-1, and the last meeting was all the way back in 1994 with an Oregon win. Oregon is favored by 5.5 points, and that has come down from 6.5. And the over-under 43.5, which is low considering that Oregon's averaging 41 points per game on the season. And I'm George Wrighster, former NFL player, college football analyst, and you can catch me on CW as well this week talking college football again. This is honestly a narrative game. You have Iowa who comes in unranked. Their only two losses are in a rivalry game against their in-state rivals. And they lost to Indiana, which is either the number one or number two team in the nation, depending on what the college football playoff ultimately decides on Tuesday. If Oregon wins this game, people are going to say, oh, well, look, you still haven't beat a ranked team. What does that matter? Still not give them the credit that they deserve, despite knowing that Iowa is a very good football team and can put a problem for any team in the country, including Indiana, who needed their last possession to win the game by less than a touchdown. But I digress. And if Iowa wins, what are they going to say? Oh, the Ducks were overrated anyway. They hadn't beaten a ranked opponent. The Big Ten is not going to get the credit that it deserves, regardless of the outcome of this game. But let's talk about it. The television is going to paint this game as it's a top 10 brand and a top 10 team in college football versus a defense. And that actually couldn't be further from the truth. You actually have two very good defenses who are going up against each other in this game. And the question is, which defense is going to hold up? No, it's actually going to be which offense is going to be able to stand up and win. Is it going to be Iowa running the football? Because they don't throw the ball very well. We know this. Or is it going to be Oregon's offense being able to move and score against a very good defense as well? Which two offenses are going to win this football game? That's going to be the question. But let's start where we always start. We got head coach versus head coach. We got Dan Lanning, the young hot shot, versus the dean of the Big Ten in Mr. Kirk Ferentz. So Dan Lanning, culture, the defense travels. He just got an extension. When coaching names come up, everybody's, hey, let's see if Dan Lanning will take $15 million. And Kirk Ferentz, nobody ever talks about him leaving Iowa because he's been there forever and nobody thinks he'll leave Iowa. And also, the offense. Like, people are struggling with this Iowa offense. I have commented on it many times. It is hard to watch. And you would think that a coach as great as Kirk Ferentz is, that at some point in time, he'd be like, maybe I would like to at least attempt to win a national championship because I can win plenty of football games. But eventually, you have to be able to score points, not just stopping the other opponent from scoring points or keeping them to a minimal. If you lose that football game, that does not matter. And to be able to win a national championship, which I know Iowa fans are proud of being a tough, Midwestern team. At some point in time, you would like to win the Big Ten, right? But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Now let's talk about quarterback versus quarterback. And this is probably the biggest area where there's a huge talent discrepancy in this game. You have Dante Moore, who's going to be an NFL first-round pick either this year or next year. And then you have Mark Gronowski, who is a college football quarterback who is unlikely to be selected in the NFL draft. But that does not mean he cannot lead this team to wins. Let's start with Dante Moore. Over 1,700 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He only played part of the last game against Wisconsin because he got hit in the nose, and then his nose was leaking like Niagara Falls, and Oregon had control of the game, so he never came back in. So he only passed for 86 yards in a atmospheric river. So that's the term for you to Google once you finish, which is heavy rain. He's actually been efficient, risk-averse. Now, that didn't play well against Indiana. And has he been perfect? No. But he has been fantastic this year overall, sans the Indiana game. Now, on the other side, you got Mark Gronowski. He's only thrown for 946 yards this year, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So this is not going to be a team that is going to beat you with this offensive prowess in terms of at the quarterback position. But he also heavily factors into the run game. Think a lot more like Haynes King over there at Georgia Tech. He just doesn't throw the ball like Haynes King, who threw for 400 yards last game. That's where the biggest talent gap is going to be. For Iowa to have a chance to win this football game, Mark Gronowski is going to have to throw for over 200 yards in this game, which he has not done this season, but he came close twice. He had a 189 and a 170 something this year, but it's going to take that to be able to beat this Oregon Ducks team, which also has the #1 pass defense in the country. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now let's talk about Oregon's offense versus Iowa's defense, because Iowa is a solid defense. They are only allowing 83 rushing yards per game in one of the top rushing defenses in the entire country. And Oregon is balanced, and they are explosive when the run game is going. And this is one of the best run offenses in the entire country. So you cannot dispute that. There's a lot of people that look at Oregon's offense, led by Will Stein, who might be a head coach soon, that this is a pass-heavy offense. No, it is built upon the run, the same way it was when Chip Kelly was there. Now, there are going to be high-flying pass acts, but it is going to be built upon being able to run the football. So can Oregon's offensive line hold up against a very stout and gap-sound Iowa defense? So you're going to have on Oregon's offense, Dante Moore. He is going to have to play good football, be accurate, not get balls batted down. And when you get an opportunity to hit an explosive, hit it, which he has been excellent at this season. He's done a good job of not missing layups. And then at the running back position, this is going to be interesting because Noah Whittington, he leads the team in rushing right now. But it seems that Jordan Davidson, true freshman from Modern Day High School, is really the heir apparent for the starting back role. But then you also have De'Aaron Hill, who is an explosive kid who, if he touches the football, he can hit his head on the goalpost. And then you got another true freshman at wide receiver, DeCorean Moore, and a potential first-round pick at tight end in Kenyon Sadiq. You got Gary Bryant Jr., and you could be getting Evan Stewart back this week as well, who's missed all season with a knee injury. So this Oregon offense is loaded with talent all over the place. But can that talent and its youth, because this is a young Oregon offense at the skill positions. The quarterback didn't have a lot of starts before the season started. You got multiple true freshmen playing a lot. So this is why Oregon's offense has been, I'll call it streaky at times. It has been excellent, and then it's gotten logged down at times. And then it's excellent again. And that's the thing that's actually driving Oregon fans nuts. But I will say, I appreciate Iowa fans because Iowa fans have been showing up on social media. They believe in their team, and I absolutely love it. Now, let's get to some of these rankings because the Oregon offense is ranked 3rd in the Big Ten behind USC and Indiana at 483.9 yards per game and number 10 in the nation, number 3 in points per game in the Big Ten, 41.3, number 6 in the nation. And they are the number 1 rushing team in the Big Ten, number 8 in the nation at 237 yards per game. So this is good versus good, because Iowa is only allowing 83 yards per game rushing. So one of these two things has to win. And if we're being honest, this Iowa defense is mean, bro. They are only allowing 35% completions on 3rd down. They have terrific red zone discipline. Their defensive lineman, Max Llewellyn, has 6 sacks already. And then Carson Sherrar, Zach Lutmer, these are very, very good players. And I know that they aren't the, I'm going to say the thing that a lot of people are scared to say. People don't respect Iowa as much because they think that they are unathletic because they got a bunch of white players everywhere. This couldn't be further from the truth. If you do not have athletes on the field, you do not have good players, you cannot stop other people from scoring. These guys are going to the NFL. They are having success. And Kirk Ferentz is really good at finding really good football players. So ignore the melanin before you get yourself busted up. For Iowa's defense to have success in this game, they're going to have to keep Oregon in 3rd and long. Because if you let them live in 3rd and 4 and shorter, Oh, that is easy pickup downs. You can run for it. You can pass for it. You can be highly creative as an offensive coordinator if you are Will Stein, if you are staying in third and short. Third and long is not the place to be in this game in Kinnick Stadium with when you get a chance to wave to the Children's Hospital and everything else. This crowd is going to be crazy. They know how big of a moment that this is for Iowa. They believe that they have a special team, and somebody's going to be proven right. Now let's look at Iowa's offense versus Oregon's defense. Iowa's identity is to play defense. And then on offense is to try to be efficient running the football, stay on third and short, and convert, which they're doing right now at about 45%, and then protect the football, hammer situational football, and really be good on special teams. But the question is, can their quarterback, Mark Gronowski, pass the ball at a high enough level? Now, this is going to be, his efficiency is going to be tied to play action. And the only way that your play action is going to be honored if Kamari Moulton and then the other three guys that you have that are over 200 yards rushing this year, that they are playing very good football, that they are moving the sticks, because this Oregon defense is giving up 114 rushing yards per game, which puts them, top 25 in the country. But that is, you're going good on good. You are going up against Iowa's strength, which is they are going to line up, they are going to shorten the game, shorten possessions, and it is critical for Oregon's defense to get 3 and outs. Because every single time that you allow Iowa to get a first down, that is more time off the clock. That is less possessions that you're going to have to score. And that's what Iowa wants. Short game, less possessions, and because they don't care if they win 13-10, 9-6. All they care about is the W. This team is savages. This Oregon defense is number 6 in the country in points per game allowed in 13.5. So Iowa fans, you should recognize that because you're number 4 at 13.1. So this is a styles make fight sort of game. The difference is, these defenses are very, very similar. Rankings, points per game. Oregon's offense is just much better in it. And the question is, whose offense is going to be able to dominate? That is what this game comes down to. On Oregon's defense, you got Bryce Betcher, Jerry Mixon at linebacker. They're going to have to be much better than they have been because, honestly, that's been the weak point of this Oregon defense is their linebacker play, getting off of blocks and also winning at the point of contact because they fall back and get hit way too much. And Iowa wants 10 to 12 play possessions. And if you're Oregon, you want 3 play possessions. That's going to be the way to win. Iowa, this offense doesn't need 450 yards to beat you. They just need short fields and one hidden possession on special teams, which they have dominated, particularly in the punt return game, because their punt returner kid is a savage. Now, if Iowa is able to get into the red zone, that's where the Ducks have struggled, is they keep people between the 25s. But when they get inside of the 25s, that's when things go awry. That's where Oregon's defense has given up a lot of points, is if you get into the red zone, you are almost assuredly to be able to score. But the problem is getting into the red zone. Penalties are going to matter because Oregon was one of the least penalized teams throughout the first, 5 or 6 weeks of college football. But the last couple of weeks, they've been penalized. And they've had some uncharacteristic turnovers as well. Turnovers are going to be at a premium in this football game. Now, let's look at the X factors for this game. For Iowa, it is their special teams. They are going to have to punt well, cover punts well, and most importantly, find a way to get big punt returns or kickoff returns to give them short fields for this offense. The X factor for Oregon is going to be their linebacker play. Can their linebackers knock back these Iowa running backs and get off of blocks? Because if they can do that, there is success to be had in this game. Now, on to the prediction. Oregon is favored by 5.5 points in this game. Both of these these teams are coming off of byes. I am going to take the Oregon Ducks minus 5.5. I believe that Dan Lanning, that Will Stein, Tosh Lupoi, that this team is ready to come out and make a statement as they head into what appears to be the toughest part of their schedule. So I'm going to take the Oregon Ducks -5.5, and Iowa performs admirably, but I do believe that this will be a statement game for the Ducks. But the road doesn't get easier for Oregon after this game. They got Minnesota, USC, and then at Washington. So they finish out the season very, very strong. And then Iowa, they got to play that same USC team next week at USC. Then they got Michigan State and Nebraska, whose quarterback, Dylan Raiola, is out for the season. So that's the outlook for this game. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show. Appreciate it. Catch you guys later.